All right, Craig, we are here talking about your article, What is an Ethical Will and How to Write One. Um, so a lot of us have heard of a will before, write down all my legal wishes. What's an ethical will and why is this so important?
Yeah, I think the thing that I thought about was we do all these things. We do a really good job, most of us, planning and figuring out what we're going to do with all of our assets, but we maybe don't spend enough time just thinking about what our hopes are, what we would love for our family to know about us. And so it's really a love letter to your family saying, hey, here's what I was all about in my life. Here's the things, it's not the resume part of your like, or, if you're thinking about maybe it's somebody's eulogy, it's not like, here's all the stuff they've done. It's like, here's all the stuff that they loved. And so it's really a love letter to your family to let them know, hey, here's who I am. And here's some things that I think I'd love for you to know about me.
That's great. I'm going to bring your article up here for just a minute.
Yeah.
Um, so in the article here, which if you're watching this, you can grab this. If you're seeing this video through the article, then you're seeing the article. If you're seeing this video directly, you can grab a link to the article in the description of the video. But you do a good job kind of setting up the topic and then giving a handful of prompting questions, ways to kind of think through what you might want to share about your kind of who you are and what you want to leave with your family about who you are, what was important to you, what kind of made you who you are. What are some of your favorite things, memories that shaped you, life experiences, and hopes for your family's future? So definitely take a dive through this article if you're watching this.
Yeah.
But Craig, I thought when we talked about writing this originally, I thought
Yeah.
you'd be an excellent person to tackle this topic because you got quite a bit of insight into this, but it's also something that you've done personally.
Yeah.
You've thought very carefully about what it is that you want to share with your family, not just about what you're leaving to them
Right.
when you're done using it all,
Yeah.
but what it is about you that you want them to know. So
Yeah.
maybe just kind of tell us a little bit about how you've addressed this with your own family, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. And it's kind of funny because the idea of the article was so like most of us, when you do something, you learn way more than those that you're actually passing it along to. And so just writing the article was really, really good for me. And then I actually was part of a group of people that I said, hey, I think you would think this article is really cool. You ought to, read it. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's great. Have you done it? And I'm like, no, I just I just wrote the article. And they're like, oh, you got to do it, man. And so that prompted me to get to the next step. And as you said, it was really fun to think through some of my life experiences and then what I wanted to relay on to my family. So the question you mentioned, the questions and what's in there, and one of the examples for me is that I love to walk, right? And so that comes up in the ethical will that I wrote, and I walk with like all of my kids. I walk with tons of people, but when I'm with my kids, they'll know, hey, Dad's going to want to go for a walk because that's part of who he is. It's a simple thing, but it's actually a really fun thing to be able to do with my kids. And then it's fun to watch how that's transpired into their lives. My youngest daughter walks with all of her friends now, and she's got 3 young kids. So that's harder to do than just sit around. But she's like, Dad, it's like it's keeping us out. We're exercising. So it's actually really cool to see its impact, not just down the road, but now. And so that process was a great one for me.
Yeah, that's such a cool example because it's the perfect example of something that you've found important and impactful in your life, but isn't things that you're trying to legally assign to somebody or you see this sometimes in wills where I wanted to leave this to these people because they're important to me and so on. You'll see that occasionally.
Yeah.
But nowhere in a traditional will would you hear I want you to know that walking was really important to me. And it's one of
Right.
the most
Right.
profound ways that I connected with other people. They
Yeah.
impacted me, I impacted them, and one of your key relationship building tools and habits.
Yeah.
And I know that's been true even for me as well. Like I've been
Right.
fortunate to go on one of these walks with you and heard
Yeah.
some great insights and just bonded through that. And it's
Yeah.
such a good example of something that you might not share in a will, but you would certainly share in an ethical will
Right.
or kind of what I want you to know about me, if we wanted to say it in plain language.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I think walking is like for old people, but I don't consider myself old. So,
no, no,
I'll
yeah,
keep
yeah,
doing it. And
clearly not.
probably
Yeah.
it's a super healthy thing. So hopefully it'll keep me around a lot longer. So then they don't actually have to get to this thing for a while.
Yeah. I mean, there's great research on how it impacts
Right.
uh, everything from problem solving, working through a difficult
Yeah.
issue with somebody. There's interesting research on how it helps digestion and
Right, right.
absorption of
Yeah, it's
nutrients. So
crazy.
that's not what
Yeah.
this topic is about, but
Yeah.
it is interesting. If
But
you're
that's where
watching
we
this and you
went.
want to
Yeah.
look that up, you can find out
Yeah.
the benefits of walking in your life, other than just connecting Craig with you. If somebody's watching this and they're thinking about tackling this for the first time,
Yeah.
I'm inspired by this idea to leave this love letter or ethical will to my family. How should they go about thinking about it? Preparing, writing? What would you share with them as something to think about to get started?
Yeah, you touched on this earlier, but first of all, I would just say kind of go for it. I mean, just get out a piece of paper and get going and just brainstorm and reminisce and think about those things that what are those favorite things that have been a part of your life? What memories shaped you? What life experiences have been impactful for you? And and again, depending on the family situation, what are your hopes for them? So I would just say kind of get out a blank sheet of paper, start getting things down, and then you can hone it in later. But just getting started, that was probably the hardest part for me, was like, I just got to get started. And then once I got going, it kind of flowed and it was really fun. It was really fun to do. You can ask people too to give you input, right? Like so that's another way to go about it. But I would say just take a look at this article and then kind of do it, get
I
going.
would advise a box of tissues nearby as well.
Yep. Yep.
I've shared this with you, but you and I kind of did this at the same time. I did mine on a Google Doc, and then
Okay.
I gave my wife permissions, all the whatever access permissions things that you need to be able to access it from your account.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that it notifies her that this new document.
Right.
So she's at some meeting and she texts me. She says, "I'm bawling my eyes out right now. I just read this letter you wrote to me." So it's all the wishes that I have for you now that I've passed away.
Yeah. And
But it is a way to kind of access some of those deeper things. And if you've thought about it for the first time or for the 100th time,
right. And we
um,
and we do say at the end of the article, the spoiler is don't wait until you die to share this with your family. And I've
yes.
actually had the privilege. I have 4 kids, just real quickly. I have 4 kids, 12 grandkids, and I've shared it with all 4 of my kids and their spouses. And they're obviously in the letter. There's stuff about them. And so it was really fun to do that. And as I say in there, you want this to be a blessing. You want it to be something that they feel encouraged by. But also it's okay if it challenges them to some things that you would hope to see for them.
And that's great because we could all imagine, you might be writing this or you might be thinking about this at varying points through the arc of your life as a family or as a spouse or as a parent or whatever the case is. And sometimes that's a moment of peace and harmony. Sometimes it's a moment of strife. And so I think your advice of just start writing, see what
Yeah.
comes out. You can refine it, you can edit it, and you can have, I mean, you might be on your 12th draft of it and editing it as time goes on as you learn new lessons.
Yeah.
Um, so super valuable. I can't commend this habit enough, this practice enough. And
Yeah.
then most importantly, that bow on the top at the end of don't wait to share
Right.
it. Share these things today
Yeah.
and start living out the communication of the values that you'd want to leave. So maybe one question to kind of wrap this up.
Yeah.
We're a Alterra Advisors. Our firm is a financial planning and wealth management company. We haven't talked much financial planning or wealth management here.
Right.
Why would this be an important topic for us to be talking about with our clients? Why would this be an important topic to a firm like us?
Yeah. What I think of is our resources, our finances, our stuff are a tool, but they're a tool to help us create the things that we love and the things that we want to have happen. And so we want to make sure we're using that tool in the right ways. And we've heard lots of examples of people where money is a challenge. We've done another article, the one we did with Jill Gardner, on that, of like how to make money. So I think this is a great way to say, hey, fam, here's things beyond the money piece. They maybe don't even understand some of the money piece, but they understand your heart. And so this is a little bit of a chance to let them see your heart, which is really good. And it's good for us to do. And it's an ongoing process. This isn't done. Like I will probably be refining this hopefully the rest of my life to make it better and have some other things that I want to add to it for them. So I think it's a perfect fit with us believing that Alterra is way more than a money management or a financial planning or estate firm. We want to touch the areas of the people's lives that they care about, and they're going to care about their family and the people they love.
Yeah, and I can't echo that enough. The view that we have of money as a tool to enjoy your life, provide for your loved ones, impact causes we care about. We're all about helping to unlock the potential of somebody's wealth in order to do that. But in order to, so unlocking your wealth's potential, that might be some of the strategies, the tips, the things that we put into place, helping somebody see how they can retire and gift money and leave money to their kids, support their education, whatever. But unlock to do what? And that's
Right.
what people are thinking about when they do this kind of an exercise. Craig, very thankful for your efforts here writing this article and sharing your wisdom with us. If you're watching this and you have any other questions like this that you'd love us to address, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're looking for an approach like this in your own planning, feel free to contact us. We'd be happy to have an initial discussion. And until next time, Craig, thank you again. Always appreciate your insight.
My pleasure.